Just my first day, my first customer ever, I sold him a car and
on your first day?
My first day, first customer, yeah, everybody else was busy and I was very nervous. It's funny, so I was with Surrey Honda, that group, for 6 years. I was part-time until I finished school, and then it kind of got to a point where I wanted to grow and develop my career. Truly, it's getting a new car or a pre-owned car. It's a dream come true for many people. So if I can help facilitate that, then I feel really good about it. So it's been a lot of fun. You know, you had to go to a dealership, get a brochure, speak with a salesperson, and really help put that together. So maybe there's more tools available, but I still think that there's no replacement for hard work and just being dedicated to your craft. I was ranked as the #1 sales manager in Canada for Honda for 2 years. Okay. And from there I was given the opportunity to be the general manager of our Acura dealership in North Vancouver. So I think at the time I was one of the youngest general managers at the time, for sure, in the history of our company.
Right. So what does the future hold for you?
Well, I hope that I get to stay in this business a little while longer.
You might, actually.
I will say the industry has changed very, very, very rapidly, especially over the last 5 years. The technology is changing so much. The way people want to buy cars is much different, and it's really changed through COVID now.
Welcome to Khas Mulakat. I'm your host, Sonia West. Today in the studio, we have Aly Jiwani, VP of Operations for OpenRoad Auto Group. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure being here.
Thank you. So very exciting things are happening, these days with you. I've seen you traveling a lot with your work.
Yeah.
And I know that, you started off very humble beginnings.
Yeah.
And, we wanted to have you on the show today to discuss, the success that you've become. You worked hard and to get to where you are today. So share with our viewers and myself.
Yeah, thank you. No, I started back in 1998 selling. Actually, before that, my brother and I used to wash cars on weekends at various car dealerships. And in 1998, I was just finishing my second year of university. I kind of wanted a summer job so I could pay for tuition and books going to school. And I started at Surrey Honda, which is not too far from here. And my first day, my first customer ever, I sold him a car. And
on your first day?
My first day, first customer, yeah. Everybody else was busy and I was very nervous. And I ended up meeting a customer who I quickly developed a very fast relationship with, and a couple hours later he was driving home in a new car for him, but a pre-owned car, and it was kind of cool because he bought a 1986 Prelude, and I knew all about it because my dad had one back in 1986.
So you're a perfect salesman.
So I knew all about the car. So it was kind of fun, and then. Yeah, that summer job, which at the time actually lied to the general manager at the time and said I'd quit school.
Yeah.
And so he would hire me because I'd applied a few times with him previously, and I was still maybe a bit young. Yeah. And that summer job ended up being a career, and I'm here now today. So.
Well, the word that comes to mind is tenacious.
You're
there telling him, I'm not in school. I really need this job. And you sold a car on your first day, which is unheard of. So good for you. So then after that, you're with OpenRoad now. That's a pretty big group, OpenRoad.
Group. Well, it's funny. So I was with Surrey Honda, that group, for 6 years. I was part-time until I finished school, and then it kind of got to a point where I wanted to grow and develop my career. And Christian Chia, who's the CEO of OpenRoad at the time, was a very young, up-and-coming guy who was very progressive in the car business. And him and I met back in 2004. And I think at the time OpenRoad only had maybe 5 or 6 locations at the time. And him and I met, and he right off the bat inspired me, and it was a very easy decision to join the group. And it wasn't always easy though. I struggled in the beginning a little bit with OpenRoad, but I like you said, I was trying to be as tenacious as I could, and I'm here today. So
it's funny because we go to school often for something else and we end up in something else. What did you think you were going to be when you grew up?
To be honest, so when I was a teenager, I was actually a child actor, believe it or not. A lot of people don't know that.
I believe that.
Yeah. So I was in various TV shows, commercials, a few small parts in movies. And I was a working actor. So my schooling was actually done on set. So we didn't really do much schoolwork.
Wow.
But so I ended up leaving the film industry when I was about 15 or 16. Finished high school, and then I was going to be a pre-med student in university. Quickly after my first summer selling cars, I switched to business.
Right.
But the thing is that I'm actually third generation in the car business now. My grandfather was in the industry back in East Africa.
Okay.
And then my dad's family and my mom's family based out of Alberta in the car business. I wanted to kind of venture on my own.
Yeah.
So I guess it's in the blood. I think the last thing my mom wanted me to do was go in the car business. Right. But it's been a huge blessing to me and my family. So it's been a lot of fun.
Oh, that's amazing. So you're back, full circle. You're back in a studio now. I feel like, you might have a career here as well.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
So I've met you a few times, and I mean, the last time I saw you was Rolls-Royce.
Yeah.
And tell us a bit about your experience now, because you've come from, just washing cars early on in your career to now being the VP of Operations for OpenRoad Auto Group.
Yeah. It's very cool because, you mentioned Rolls-Royce, which is, I believe, the pinnacle of all brands. And, it's the most inspirational brand and aspirational at the same time. But again, I started with Honda, and currently with OpenRoad we have 4 Honda stores, and 2 of them are directly under my leadership, so to speak. And for me, whether it's Rolls-Royce or Honda or not, I still get a ton of joy when I see people picking up their new Honda Civic, or of course their new Rolls-Royce Cullinan or Phantom. So I take it all with a grain of salt, and I still really revel over when people are picking up their new car, because it's such a big deal for people, and I think that what somebody buys says a lot about them. And truly, it's getting a new car or a pre-owned car. It's a dream come true for many people. So if I can help facilitate that, then I feel really good about it. So it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. So our viewers that are watching, I mean, for them to see you so successful, and we're always, at the station, we always like to encourage our youth to look at role models like yourself to see what they can become in the future. So tell me, what kind of adversity, if any, have you overcome? Yeah,
well, like I said, when I started with OpenRoad, I struggled. I struggled very badly. I was with Honda for 6 years. When I started with OpenRoad, I went to the flagship store, which is our Toyota store, and for some reason, I couldn't make it work. It couldn't click. It was very, very, very tough. In fact, at certain times, I even questioned myself whether I was in the right industry or not, and really struggled with it. And I remember it was probably late fall of 2004. Had to have a coming to forward moment, and I had to kind of recollect my thoughts and really push forward. Still didn't do that great, but again, I'm very loyal to Christian Chia, who's, like I said, our CEO of the company, and he kind of saw something in me. And I just kept staying positive if I could, and put my head down and worked as hard as I could. And he was able to give me an opportunity at our Honda store in Burnaby, which is now one of the top stores in the country. And actually, we're building a new location because we've really outgrown it now, and so that'll be in Burnaby. But I had an opportunity of being an assistant sales manager there, and really pushed forward, worked hard, and put in 12, 13, 14-hour days every single day. And it was that was kind of the start of some really great things that I got to do with the group. So
work ethic is huge. That's the different, that's the reason you are where you are today, is that work ethic.
I would say so. I would say that sometimes when I see some of our youth in the industry now, I don't know if they have the same work ethic maybe that we did before. Now, maybe that's a generational thing, or maybe because there's so many more tools available to the youth these days. When I first started selling cars, there was no internet. There was no websites. You had to go to a dealership, get a brochure, speak with a salesperson, and really help put that together. So maybe there's more tools available, but I still think that there's no replacement for hard work and just being dedicated to your craft. And I also think that loyalty to a group or a brand is very important. Unfortunately, I see a lot of youth these days, they're doing something for about a year and a half, then they jump ship and go somewhere else, or they think that they're ready for the next step. I would still say there's no replacement for experience, and just really being loyal to a certain brand or a group, and really honing your skills. I would say that that's the key, which I think sometimes some of our youth are missing, and I would love to see more of that with younger people in my business especially. Well, I find that it seems like a common theme among young people that I've spoken to, where they say, oh, that's beneath me. I don't want to wash cars. I want to sell the cars. I want to do this. I want to do that. But they don't realize,
they see the finished product,
Yeah.
but they don't see the hard knocks, that everybody's gone through.
Yeah, I would say to kind of talk about that, where I still think that some leaders, though, whether they're general managers or sales managers, also have to lead by example as well. To this day, I'm not adverse to taking my jacket off and helping a technician push a car, or rolling up my sleeves and helping a lot associate wash a car or whatever, right? Whatever it takes, and it has to work as a team for sure. And I would say that also you have to put that on the leadership of certain business as well too. But definitely, I think that some people do say that's beneath me or whatever, but nothing is. Right? Nothing is. So.
And that's a great attitude to have. I mean, and you've been loyal to that company for so long now. You talk about Christian Shia being inspirational to you and kind of keeping you positive.
Yeah.
Who else inspires you and keeps you motivated?
There's a lot of people. The entire the president of OpenRoad, his name is Mark Lynn, a really good guy. A former COO we had, his name is Rob Steele. He retired back in 2014. I would also say though, my work ethic comes from my father though. So he at a young age also taught me to make sure that you work hard, stay humble, and don't get too ahead of yourself as well too. So I have a lot of people that have inspired me, but I would say all the managers I've ever had, all the sales managers, the GMs that I've worked for, I've learned something from everybody. Yeah. Right. Some more than others, but I would say that everybody has been an integral part of my life. And now that I've got I have a 9-year-old son, and now I work hard for him now, right? So I'm trying to impart that on him now. So it's I think what you said, full circle. So that's kind of what it is for me today.
Yeah, I've seen pictures of your son.
Apart
from being OpenRoad VP of their operations, besides that, I've seen you have a bit of a fan base. There are people that follow you. I'm one of them, and your son is just like a mini version of you. He's adorable.
Yeah. So. He's a good kid, and he's got a very, very, very bright future ahead of him, and I'm very lucky to be his dad.
What does he say that he wants to do?
Well, he wants to be a baseball player.
Oh, perfect.
And he's a very good baseball player. So I hope that works out for him. But if it doesn't, I'm sure there's many other avenues open to him going forward. So.
Yeah, so family is a big deal to you.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure. I mean, you mentioned travel and all that. So yeah, my schedule is quite busy, but no matter where I'm at in the world, I always try and fly back to make sure I pick him up from school on Fridays and spend the weekend with him before I leave again. Then
Right. We always talk about work-life balance, and that's difficult sometimes to maintain.
Sure.
But if you're doing that structured, make sure you put in time for your son.
Yeah.
You'll see results in that, right?
Yeah, I first absolutely. And when we talk about work-life balance, I think when I was in my 20s, I didn't have a work-life balance. But when I look back, I'm okay with that because I worked hard in my 20s so that I could enjoy things more in my 30s and now in my 40s. So I'm more than I'm more than making up for it now. Let's put it that way. Yeah.
So Aly, your son looks at you, and probably thinks, "Wow, my dad's so cool. He's jet setting around
I don't
the
know
world."
if he knows that yet.
But somebody will tell him.
One day maybe. Yeah.
And I know you don't like. I know that you're a humble person and you don't like to brag about yourself. But your son will see, and we know, and our viewers will know. You've won quite a few awards. Tell us about that.
A few, yeah. Part of you were talking about what inspires me. So I remember back, I think it was the year 2000, 2001. I had one of the top awards for BC selling cars, and I was still working part-time while going to school. And I think I was the number 13 salesperson in BC at the time.
You did that while working part-time?
Yeah, I was going to SFU, and then so it was I guess I was number 13, I think, and in BC. So it was a decent award. But the national award ceremony was here in Vancouver, and I was able to meet some of the very top people for Canada. I think they were the top 5 in Canada. And I looked at them that night and I said, what do they have that I don't?
Right.
And that day I endeavored to, no matter what happens, I was going to be in that top 5. And this was 2001. And I endeavored to make it happen. I actually ended up being the number 1 salesperson in Canada that year then. So that was kind of the springboard for me to, I always feel if you're going to do something, you have to make sure that if you're not trying to be the best, then you're not serving yourself any justice. So that was kind of the first of I had been in the top 5 the next 4 years in a row. And then that's when I got to make the opportunity to come to OpenRoad. And then a couple of years later, I got to be the sales manager of our Honda store. Right. And I was ranked as the number 1 sales manager in Canada for Honda for 2 years.
Okay.
And from there, I was given the opportunity to be the general manager of our Acura dealership in North Vancouver. So I think at the time I was one of the youngest general managers at the time, for sure, in the history of our company. Yeah. We've got some amazing leaders coming through now that are maybe a little younger than I was at the time, but yeah, we got to do some of those things. But I would say my biggest award that I personally got, not as a team or as a dealership, I was the first Canadian ever to win Automotive News Top 40 Under 40. So that was a fun thing. Thank you. Yeah. That was in 2014, I believe. So that was so I'm older than 40 now, but at the time it was for me it was quite a big honor, just being recognized in North America as one of the younger leaders of our industry. So that was a lot of fun.
Well, that is amazing, because a lot of times people don't know what they want to do
yeah.
till age 40. Like they don't have an idea what they want to do. So that's amazing that you did that.
Yeah. So I mean, the nice thing is that now, being in the business, it'll be 24 years on Monday. It's 24 years ago exactly, and now I want to see success in others. So when I see dealership awards or when I see group awards or things like that, that's what inspires me today now is watching the future leaders of our company take us to the next level. So it's very rewarding for me now seeing others win.
Right. So because your life is so hectic and you are so accomplished, what kinds of things do you do in your downtime to kind of keep yourself grounded and in a routine?
What I try and do is I try and, now that I'm getting a little older as well too, the metabolism slows down a bit. So I like to work out a little bit. Okay. I love to play the odd round of golf here and there. But truly, spending time with my son and playing baseball with him and he does everything from football and baseball to chess to everything. So, he keeps me young and I need to stay in shape to keep up with him. So he's really the inspiration to me now. Yeah.
Right. So what does the future hold for you?
Well, I hope that I get to stay in this business a little while longer.
You might, actually.
I will say the industry has changed very, very, very rapidly, especially over the last 5 years. The technology is changing so much. The way people want to buy cars is much different, and it's really changed through COVID now.
You were saying off camera that the wait for vehicles is insane, like it's a year.
Yeah, and vehicles like a Toyota RAV4, a Toyota Sienna, or as much as a Rolls Royce, you're looking at 8, 12, 18 months wait for certain models. So that's one thing, but also people have really gotten used to buying stuff from home, doing things online.
Right.
Time is of the essence for people now. So the days of customers coming in 3, 4, 5 times before buying, those days are completely over.
Because they've done the research before they even walk in the door.
Yeah, and that's even true for pre-owned cars too. We will sell many pre-owned cars to people sight unseen. Right. So the days of the busy Saturday are gone, where we used to see 30 or 40 customers on a Saturday. We don't now. Now when people come in, they know what they're looking for. A lot of the pricing, payments, financing options have already been discussed. It's more just a formality when they come in now to do those things. Many times we don't even see the customers. So that's very different to me. So salesmanship, so to speak, has changed a lot over the last 20 plus years in our industry, for sure.
Right. Yeah, that customer service component, although you still offer it, it's less in demand, I guess. People are doing their research and it's more of an efficient visit, I guess.
It's an efficient visit, but at the same time, customer service is still paramount, because somebody sitting at home has the ultimate control of who they want to do business with. Right. So making the sales process easy, fun, and comfortable is what's going to separate the good operators from the not so good operators, right? So I still try and preach that we still have to give that great experience to the customer so that they will continue buying from us and continuing servicing with us and doing business with us in a multitude of ways, right? I always preach to all my staff, don't worry about selling the car. First of all, sell yourself. That's what the customer is buying. Is they're buying confidence in dealing with you. Right. Secondly, are you selling the dealership or the group? The last thing is the product itself, because typically you can't buy a bad car these days, right? So what you're doing is just selling the experience and selling yourself. Right. And nobody wakes up and says, today I want to be mediocre, right? Nobody says, well, you hope they don't do that. So you know what? If you wake up every day and say today's going to be the best day I can make it, the customers will see that and they can read it very quickly on your body language or how you deal with them, whether it's on the phone or on the internet or in person. So it's very important.
Well, earlier in the interview you said, what does that guy have that I don't have? So it seems like you do a lot of self-reflection.
Sure.
And a lot of goal setting.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah.
Do you continue to do that even though you're...
Every single day, yeah, yeah, absolutely. Because if you don't have a vision as to where you want to go, you're never going to get there.
Right. How can you? You don't know where you're going.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, whether you're even when I was a salesperson, I had not only daily goals, but weekly and monthly and yearly goals.
Right.
But it's also important not to set the goal so high that you don't understand how you're going to get there, right? So I definitely have daily goals. What am I going to accomplish today?
Right.
What am I going to accomplish this week, this month, this quarter, right? And these could be personal things, or they could be, it could be monetary, a multitude of things, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, keep them attainable.
Yes.
And then just knock them off.
Yeah, you have to. And if you don't, it's okay, right? I always tell people, I'd rather you try 10 things and fail 9 times than not try at all.
Right.
So I think that's very important in both a group goal setting environment, but also for yourself.
Yeah, that's great advice. So speaking of advice, because we do have a lot of viewers that are watching today and they want to learn how to become a success like you, because it's not overnight.
No.
And you know, you're a testament to that. You've done, you know, the mediocre job, if you will, and now you're at this high level where we see you traveling everywhere, and I, you know, we saw each other at Rolls-Royce, and the car alone at Rolls-Royce, I think it was like $600 and something thousand just for the car.
Correct.
So you're at a very high level, you know, in the automobile industry. So if you can just look in our camera there and talk to our viewers and tell them a bit about what they can do to maybe aspire to become just as successful as you.
I would say that regardless of whatever you want to do, make sure that you set attainable goals. Realistic goals, but make sure that you're working very, very hard and improving yourself every single day to try and figure out how to make sure that goal happens. And when you get to that goal that you want to do, reward yourself, celebrate, but then reset the goals. Perfection is a moving target, so don't ever stop. And always, always, always make sure that you thank those along the way that have helped you, because I'm very proud and blessed to have the people that I've had in my life, but I would also say that make sure that you work hard, and there's work ethic. There's no substitute for that.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Aly.
Thank you for joining us
today.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay,
thank you.
That was our show of Khas Mulakat today with Aly Jiwani. I'm your host, Sonia West. Keep watching Sanjha TV.